we have created this new facility. First time this is happening. So as the tradition goes, after you get recommended, you do come here, and we have with us two recommended candidates. On my right is Riddhi and on my left is Siddharth. Give them a huge to you right now, they may be looking like demigods, but tomorrow when you come here, you will also look the same, right? And it is not that, it is that persistence with which they have gone. It is not that Riddhi made it in the first go. She made it in the second go. She made it in the second go, but she didn't let her shoulders droop. एक दफा कोई चीज नहीं होता है. If you are a sports person and if you try a goal, if it doesn't fructify, if you don't get a goal, that doesn't mean you should leave it, right? And that's what Riddhi did it. And I'm very, very proud of her. She has been on Rajpath. She has done well in many extracurricular activities, and she has maintained a level playing field in our marks. Of course, 10th was very high, 12th was low, but then we know what answer has to be given, and we formulated that. So very, very proud of you, Riddhi, that you made it, and I'm sure you will make it into OTA. On my left is another Badmash, and that is Siddharth. He comes from an army background. His father is also in the army. He got recommended first time also. But that time there was problems of documentation. And I was very sure that he will make it. But in the second time he got a little lazy, which he is and which even his paper says. But then he'll make a very, very, very fine officer. I have no doubt about both of them. Both have gone through NCC special entry. So what looks to you just because they are sitting on this elevated place, can I? And for to know that, since they have come back from SSB very recently, I would like them to talk about their preparation here. Any advice? What did they see in SSB? How did they manage that? And later on we'll follow with certain question answers if you have any. So the first, one to my right, is Riddhi Lale, and let's hear from her.
So first of all, I would like to say that the experience that I got from there was very beautiful, very amazing, something which is very special for me. And when I talk about the preparation over here, obviously it is a very pure fact that we get to know the procedure thoroughly over here. But also at the same time, the entire GURUDEVA'S team, they keep us motivated throughout, and they have also supported us throughout the entire procedure. So SSB, in case of GTO activity especially, is something which you need practice, and attending GURUDEVA'S over here has helped me a lot to understand what the GTO activities are all about, and it also helped me improvise in the GTO activities very, very immensely. And talking about the psychological training that we went through over here, especially when it comes to writing stories, quick thinking is something which is required, and the practice over here has helped me do that very much better in this attempt, I would like to say. And when we talk about VAT or SRT, there is no doubt whatever you're doing over here is completely the only thing that you need to do, and the self-practice which is required after that. And also, you go through a lot of individual attention over there in various aspects. So it helps you to understand where you're falling back, and also where you can precisely develop yourself accordingly. And the interview part, where we go through about 2 or 3 interviews over here, which has helped me a lot, because we analyze all the questions that can be asked to you in your SSB, and it was something which I went through. Like, there were a lot of questions which I've already prepared for over here. We had good answers ready for them, like my 12th marks, which was pretty much expected to be asked, and other things. So I was able to answer them very perfectly. And most amazing thing of all is you enjoy a lot, and staying calm helped me to get throughout the entire procedure.
Right. So you have cut it short, which I will not allow much. Tell me, When you were here, were you able to write good stories right from beginning?
Absolutely not. Like the first day I came, I was not able to complete my story. Actually, I was hardly able to think for a topic when I looked at the picture. And by the time I was introducing the part of the topic, almost half the time was already passed, and I was able to like write only about 8 sentences over there. So after that, we discussed a lot of stories. Like when we looked at pictures and we discussed the topics that were suitable for all of these pictures, and we wrote more than about 50 to 60 stories. Like I myself prepared like 30 stories. So that helped me a lot, because whenever I look at a picture now, there's a quick thinking in my mind that yes, this can match with this topic, and I've already written a story on it. So it becomes very easy to go through the steps again and write that story.
Right. So, why I asked this pertinent question, I checked the story that you wrote for PPTT today, and I realized that other than Hitendra and Yash, where is Yash? Yeah. Nobody's story was complete. So what does it mean? That anybody can, she told you that she was not able to write. You are not able to write. So does it mean that she has not reached here? Or does it mean that you can't reach here? So it is achievable. Those who have got very slow handwriting, change your 13 lines to 12 lines or 11 lines. But do complete your stories. Are you getting my point? Right. So that is one thing. And what did she tell you? She had practiced almost 50, 60 stories. But on a nails, on a fingertips, or 30 stories, absolutely. What happens? Why do we make you write number of stories? So that you decide in your own mind what is the priority, you would have solved that problem. We are not going to give you any stories. We neither gave them, nor are we going to give you. But you will definitely do it. You see, when you do a thing in life, and you do it a second time is better than the first time. Why? Because you already got an experience. Isn't it? So when you have written 40, 50 stories, when you have practiced 30 stories, when you have written it also, then you become confident. You don't look at a picture and say, hi, nice, spectacular. You know, you search your itinerary as to which all, and one of them will straightway come to you, back. Right? And then when you start doing it and when you finish a story and look up, then you see everybody scratching their nut and still writing. When you do it 1 story, 2 story, 3 story, 4 story, then you realize I am miles ahead of them. In the battleground, it is also important that you must build your self-esteem. And when you are seeing with your own eyes, कि मैं जब लिख करके ऊपर सर ऊपर कर देती हूँ या कर देता हूँ, तो बाकी जने अभी भी लगे हुए हैं. That itself will give you a lot of motivation. Have you understood? So I want everybody to get after story writing and take the help of Google, take the help of friends. क्या इसमें और steps कितने हो सकते हैं? Please remember, great men don't do great things; they do small things greatly. You're that centerpiece of how your heroes solved those problems. They must have a lot of details. Whereas even today when I was checking, I realized that you're spending a lot of time in introducing the hero and the problem, and some of the stories did not even have the problems. So you must learn to master the 3 lines. Introduction of hero and the problem. And then you must gather and have the steps. उसके बाद रटने की कोई जरूरत नहीं. और जिनके अंग्रेजी वीक है वो लिख करके अपने आप को 2-3 दफे कर लो, so that it is set in the mind. That was one thing that I wanted you to understand, that anybody who is sitting here or Siddhant also will come to him. They are not masters like you. Don't think that it is not there in you. It is there in you. When first day Hitendra came, he could not write much. Today, there are a lot of Indian people sitting also here. Despite that, he has been able to write a complete story. Why? Because he has practiced, and practiced. Right. So that was one. Now tell me, how was your interview? How different it was? Did you get anything from here?
and what should they do? What will be your advice on preparation for interview?
Firstly, I would just like to go back a little. Sir mentioned right now that when you have practiced enough, you are able to finish stories. As a matter of fact, all the psychological tests before the others, and that is what I really, truly experienced in my time also. I was done with every story before a minute, and also the SRTs I was done 5 minutes before everyone, and people were halfway stuck. So that is what practice helps you to do.
And did it not bolster your confidence? Look here, ठोकते चल जाना. Every shot of mine is going in bullseye.
Completely it did.
And therefore it helps you on a story where you are, even if you are slightly confused, if your morale is high, you start getting things. You would have seen in your own life that when you are slightly nervous, even if you know a thing, your performance goes down, isn't it? And when your morale is high, then even if you don't know, you take a chance. And you take a chance in a better way. And when your mind is cool, then you write better stories. Are you getting my point? So please, 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 don't neglect stories. If your stories are good, your language will also improve. Your language improves, your those one-liners will also come a lot from there. After all, what is a story? If you elongate a DAT, it becomes a SRT. And a SRT, if it is further elongated, because there is a problem in that SRT, it becomes a story. और है क्या? तीनों के अंदर में तालमेल है. I want everybody to not sleep before you write 10 to 15 stories. And 10 to 15, 10 stories means what? 40 minutes. That's about all. And you can always give 40 minutes. Are you getting my point? ये जंग है. आज जहां जाती हैं, जहां जाते हैं, अपने रिश्तेदार भी लोग कहते हैं यार नहीं तो सिद्धांत तो you have to give respect, you have to work, you have to sweat it out. So that was that. Now coming to the second question, which was my main question.
So the interview part, I would like to say, as I mentioned before, we practice here a lot and we go through all of the possible questions individually on what can be asked about you. So it is something which I expected, and surprisingly he asked me like 90% of the questions which I've already answered over here regarding my PIQ. And the one thing which helped me a lot is staying calm during the interview. I was not hesitating at all. It was a normal discussion and we had a lot of fun while even discussing it, because he got engrossed into it, like my interviewing officer got engrossed into asking me more stuff about my PIQ. And when it came to current affairs, there were points where I couldn't answer, but at the same time, I just decided to stay calm. I just said, sir, I don't know at the moment, but I'll get back to you.
Right. I would like to take a sheaf out of this. If she did not answer those 2 or 3 questions, is she not recommended? She's recommended, isn't it? Well, what happens to a nervous man? He doesn't answer one question while he's applying for another question which the interviewing officer has asked you. You start fumbling, अरे यार वो तो क्वेश्चन नहीं पूछ पाया, वो तो क्वेश्चन नहीं हो पाया. देखो भाई, एक एटीट्यूड बनाओ लाइफ में. Even this shall pass. जिंदगी तुम्हारे टाइम, भगवान ने ऐसा टाइम बनाया हुआ है कि तुम कितने भी नर्वस होते रहो, समय जाएगा, वो खत्म होगा. तो जो बीत गई वो बात गई. अब आगे की सुधी ले. जो बात खत्म हो गई उसको डोंट लेट इट mount on you. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So what? You're not an encyclopedia, damn it. We are not expecting you to be encyclopedia there. We are expecting you, well, you will not know certain things. So damn what? तो जो एक बात रिद्धि ने कहा, तो उसको लेके मैं नहीं चली. I remained calm. So learn to develop this habit of staying calm, even in the most ruffled weather. Don't start panting, and you start panting and your flow of oxygen stops in your brain, and then you start giving third class answers. Stay calm. होइए भाई जो राम रुचि रखा. राम जी ने ऑलरेडी बना दिया है तुम्हारा टीचर, तो हमारे को नर्वस हो जाने से मैं और अच्छा कर लूँगा क्या? But राम जी is expecting you कि भैया जो तुमको मैंने वरदान दिया है तो उसको go and live it up. You have to perform. Because God helps those written for you. So you don't practice it there in SSB. You learn to practice this here. Whenever you are nervous, take 10 deep breaths. If you have a little water around, take a sip or two. And remember, even this shall pass. Right? If you are not nervous, that is another thing that we test you there. इसको जरा सा हड़का के देखते हैं कहीं nervous तो नहीं हो जाएगा. Like when I used to give the SRT, I used to give it with all the dramas, and many of the drivers, interviewing officer do it also. अंदर वो आदमी सूख जाता है. वही तो देखना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि हम तुम्हें सिलेक्ट कर रहे हैं लड़ाई के लिए. लड़ाई में नर्वसनेस होगा, गोलियां चलेंगी, तुमको डर लगेगा थोड़ा सा, बट कैन यू ओवरकम? सो उसका छोटा टेस्ट मैं ले रहा हूँ इंटरव्यू में कि मैं इसको तंग कर रहा हूँ, उसको और चढ़ा रहा हूँ और चढ़ा रहा हूँ. इवन जीटीओ आपको और इनको भी किया था जब ये आएंगे, और थोड़ा सब कुछ, ये भी ब्लू हो गया, वो रेड हो गया, वो ब्लू हो गया. घबरा मत जाओ कि तो मुझे तंग कर रहा, तंग नहीं कर रहा. He wants to give you more marks. If he wants to give you more marks, he has to dig deep into you, isn't it? दिगंबर, isn't it? Isn't it? ऐसे नंबर तो नहीं दे देगा ना कि आप बहुत लंबे हैं, बहुत ऐसे हैं, आप पुणे के रहने वाले हैं, इसलिए नंबर आपको ज्यादा मिलेगा. नहीं, he will test you. तो आपको थोड़ा रगड़ेगा, और उसका काम है, उसकी पढ़ाई है, उसकी लिखाई है. So she maintained calm, and that's why I probed her to get to know about interview, what we are doing. But you got to come prepared, damn it. You got to know yourself. आपका गांव, आपका शहर, जहाँ आप पढ़ रहे हैं, जो कॉलेज में पढ़ रहे हैं, जो यूनिट में पोस्टेड हैं, आप कुछ भी बोलेंगे उसके बारे में थोड़ा नॉलेज होना चाहिए आपको. तो आज सभी लोग 10-15 चीज निकालिए जो आपको जानना चाहिए. आपके फादर आर्मी में क्या ट्रेड था, कितना साल सर्विस किया, all these things. Similarly about your unit, if you are an NCC cadet, about your unit, you don't know the name of DG NCC, what's the big deal? You got to know it. आपको ये मालूम होना चाहिए कि आप कहाँ जाएंगे. यहाँ से अगर सक्सेसफुल हो गए, रिकमेंडेड हो गए, तो मेरी ट्रेनिंग कहाँ होगी, क्या है वो जगह, किधर है वो. सर मेरे को कुछ नहीं मालूम, नहीं मालूम है तो इधर क्यों आए. So that was about that. Now tell me, how important it is to be physically fit for GT?
I think what physical fitness is something which is important in all of the aspects of your life, whether it be you're trying for the defense forces or something else. But when we talk about particularly GTO or all of the tasks that we had performed, there were a lot of people who were running out of their breath because it was not very normal for them to work out that much or to have been in the, like, to endure all of those tasks. And whenever, particularly about the individual obstacles, something when you look at, you judge them that yes, I might be able to do this looks easy, but it actually is not, because the time is something which is putting a limitation on all of that, and you have to be very, very quick to decide which one I can go through, how I can save time, and your body needs to be with you, stay with you during all of those times, whether it be individual obstacles or a snake race or even other HGT, PGT, everything.
So my another question to you only, is it that they will allow you are a female, नहीं थोड़ी सी कमजोर है कोई चलेगा, कोई नहीं छोड़ने वाला, कोई नहीं छोड़ने वाला. And then अगर लेडीज को नहीं छोड़ा जाएगा तो आपको क्यों छोड़ दिया जाएगा? क्यों खाते हो इतने चावल, क्यों खाते हो आपने जितनी कैपेसिटी है उससे ज्यादा. The capacity of the tummy is only this much, 120, right? Any day you check, although because I'm not able to do exercise much now, I get so engrossed in them, there are so many other things. Plus at 71, even when I exercise, I don't go down. The muscles start leaving me. They do not have that type of energy. Otherwise, I hate to see my figure today. But you are only 20, 21. खड़े खड़े जहाँ भी ऐसे बैठ करके गप लगा रहे हो. जब मैं सुबह में आया, you are all मारोइंग सट्टास. वहाँ बना हुआ पैरापेट, झुक जाओ, 20 मार दो फटाफट फटाफट फटाफट. भाई साहब, समय अलग से नहीं मिलेगा. बैठे हुए हो 10 दफे अगर ऐसे कर लिया, even now at this age also my muscles move. You got to exercise. come on your toes and go down on your heels while you are standing, even while you are talking. You got to look after this temple. And both the guys on both sides, they're so fit. Even from looks you can make out. They're so fit. अभी इनको बोल दूँ अभी आ जाएंगे ग्राउंड पे. So this body is the only one which is gonna support you in your studies, in your understanding things, in your undertaking any problems. You got to be, and you think this extra adipose, these extra fat, they make me look nice. Bullshit. It does not. It does not. Though they are thin and good, when they will exercise so much in their academies, of course they will visit. And if you get to know, they look much more handsomer than what they are. They are not a shade of what they look right now and what they will look then. So look after yourself. Look after yourself. लाला की तरफ जाएंगे और कहेंगे सर मैंने तो अंग्रेजी बहुत अच्छी बोली. वो बोलेगा यूनिफॉर्म में ये यूनिफॉर्म की बेइज्जती करवाएगा. So keep your body fit. And if your body fit, you put on uniform or a dress, you feel nice to look at yourself in the mirror. Right? Okay. How was your conference?
Conference was like, it was very short. There were very basic questions in the beginning, like how was your stay, or what did you enjoy the most, or how many friends have you made, and it was pretty straightforward. They did ask me one situation.
Hey.
This is a situation was kind of funny. So they asked me that if you want to marry a guy you like and your father and your uncle are not agreeing with that, so what will you do? So at the moment I was a little bit nervous, but I just said I'll just convince them and marry him. So they were pretty much happy with that answer because everyone was smiling, I assume. And later they were also questioning me about, like, they were pressurizing me about the number of seats, that there are only 4 seats from NCC entry. So they asked me twice, don't you think it is difficult for you to get in? So I just said, no sir, only 1 seat is enough for me, so I think that will work. And
So those things are not, but SRTs are very important. That was just to test whether she'll get nervous. And since she speaks less, she otherwise also in her friend circle she jumps along, but then otherwise she looks as if she's a very serious person. She's got a deceptive look. So they would have thought, भाई ability to influence पूरा है कि नहीं, इसलिए एक तरफ खड़ा कर दिया पापा की मर्जी, एक तरफ खड़ा कर दिया तुम्हारी मर्जी. ये क्वेश्चन तुम्हारे SRTs में भी बहुत सारे आएंगे, कम से कम 3-4 तो आएंगे ही. एक बात जान लेना, बाकी सब चीजों में बाप माँ के साथ, बड़े लोगों के साथ खड़ा होना जरूरी है और उनकी बातें सर आंखों पर कुछ बातें ऐसी हैं, अगर आपकी अपनी लाइकिंग है, खास करके ये शादी वाली बात, अगर आप किसी को जानती हैं या जानते हैं और आपका कमिटमेंट है और उसके बाद बाबूजी के कहने पर आपने शिफ्ट कर दिया, दैट मीन्स यू आर अ दगाबाज. That means you will not stand by your own. Certain things you got to, if you have given birth to a girl or to a boy, you got to stand by yourself. And that is your life. Everything is okay. But then don't start fighting with your parents. Convince them. Right? So that was so far as Riddhi, whatever nutshell she could tell. She is from Pune and we will be inviting her other times also. And I'm sure she will be kind enough to come, and every chutti also she will come. But then she will not meet you all because you all will meet her on your postings. You will keep crisscrossing. I have heard about, even from him, that the moment one chap opened his mouth in the PPDT, he could make out ye Gurudeva guy. Right? So wonderful, Riddhi. I wish you all the best. And I have no doubt that you are making it. You are going for OTA. जो थोड़े दिन बच गए हैं आराम करके कर लो, बाकी रगड़ा तुम्हारे डिस्प्ले में लिखा हुआ है. But you will get the best, and to be part of this Indian Armed Forces, it's a matter of great pride. And you have the best of life. Best of life does not mean that you'll be sleeping away to glory. I don't consider sleeping away to glory to be a very good life. But the mountains that I have seen, the deserts that I have walked in, the jungles through which I have walked through, and the plains where I have worked in. And that's what makes me feel that I am an Indian. I am a Bihari second. Now I am a resident Maharashtrian third. But I am an Indian, because the entire country is yours. And you will have a ball of a time. And you will feel the type of praise. And I'm sure that you will make a very, very good officer. Give her a huge hand.